Hey everybody, Barry here again. 4L80 Turbo LS Caravan, junky 6-liter. It's all coming together. So what I have to do tonight, today, tomorrow is get this thing fixed. Our brand new transmission that's all split to pieces. Nothing is broken. You can see that it's all tight, but it does have crazy cracks. It's not cracked out to the surface here, and it's not cracked out to the surface here. The mounting flange, yeah, you can't see it. It's fine. So what I'm gonna do is, obviously the 4L80 doesn't have a removable bell housing, but the 60E does. Which it just so happens that I have one right here next to it, because I scrapped out of the yellow pile of GMC yesterday. So I'm gonna unbolt this bell housing, mate the two mounting flanges, bolt them together. That way, I'll know for 100% fact that when I weld this thing back together, it's not going to be off a 1/16 of an inch or 10 thou or anything that's going to cause alignment problems on this and start wearing out seals or input shaft bushings and putting strain on parts that doesn't need to have strain on it. And then they'll get it welded. So these suck to get off. They got like Torx bolts inside of them, I'm pretty sure. Oh, torque converter's still in it. I'll take that out too. So, yeah. Before I start rambling again, like I have so commonly done, I'm going to pull this thing apart and we'll get bolting. It's been a while since I took a torque converter out, but as far as I remember, he used to make quite a mess. Whew, not bad at all. Alrighty, so that's out. Now we can see these really annoying Torx bolts. Fun. So I'll see if I can crack all those without twisting off a bolt, or a socket I mean. Like I've done a handful of times. It just breaks the Torx sockets right in two, which sucks. So I'll try and crack them all first. If I can, then I'll gun them all out. And hopefully this works. And here's the first bit. There we go. Brand new bit, just out of the pack. This is gonna be a night. Okay, I officially hate that transmission. The 4L60E is the biggest pile of garbage ever built. Oh, I didn't even get the first one, and it's all stripped out. Not happening. Plan number 2, I guess. Big piece of square stock. So let's see if this potentially is long enough or not. Not quite. That's got the center hollow to it. Well, I don't know what's going on with this thing, but it does not want to see me succeed whatsoever. So, plan F. I will get somebody to hold it like that, and I'm welding it. And it can center itself. I don't care anymore. So I'm going to clean this here up. Tear that tag off. Oh, look how shiny it is under there. Wow. Tested? By who? Anyway. And I'm going to clean up this as well as I can. Probably V it a little bit, because it is probably 1/8 of an inch thick. Yeah, it's 1/8 of an inch there. So I'll V it out a little bit. Make sure it's all nice and clean, so it can be welded correctly. These little clips are the worst. They work well, except for when they don't, and then you blow a line. But other than that, they're all right. Lines aren't seized in, so that's a good sign. I like to take these out carefully with a little tiny screwdriver so that when they let go, they go into the quantum realm and you never see them again. There we go. This little thing, when it leaves, it doesn't come back. Throws it on the ground. Come on, let's go. Oh, I thought it left. Okay. We're still good. Still doing okay. Good right hand. Woo! 2 for 2. Now to put them somewhere where I won't remember where I put them. Come on, let's go. There we go. And it's in really good shape. That one is anyway. Let's see this one. Well, 2 lines are good. Right up through, doesn't look like they're rusty or leaking. Perfect. At least I'll be able to use those. Put this stuff out of the way. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean up those cracks. Well, it's all cleaned up, and I don't know if it looks less scary or more scary now, but I have it cleaned up and I V'd it out slightly. You can plainly see the crack now. Ah, it's hot. And how it comes down here, across here, which I still have to clean up a little bit, and then right down the edge of the bell housing right here, right across to the top there. You can also see that inside it's cracked. You can see the light shining through the crack there. So right down to here. If I can, I'll weld it inside also. I don't think torque converter gets that close to it. So this is the best chance at survival that it has. I also thought about, I'm sure it would make a massive state on the floor, but if I tipped it straight up and had the bell housing laid on the floor, but I don't think that's really necessary. I think I can pretty much like jam it back with my hand so the crack is sealed and then weld it. Sloppy mechanics, here we come. So really quickly, I just grabbed a piece of steel, which is this piece of 3/8 thick. Now, how am I gonna do this, I wonder? And what it looks like, see if we can see it like this. What it looks like, if I lay it across right here, is you can see that when I lay the steel flat against the top eye here and one down the bottom, is that the middle one here has light in behind it. You can see that if I push it in, it sort of flattens out a little bit. So I think what I'm gonna do is cut this off to the correct length, because now it's like 4 feet long and it's way too long. And I'll put it across the ears that are solid, maybe across from this one to this one, and clamp it with a pair of vice grips or something like that, just to get this to go back into shape. Then I can put a couple tacks on it, put it on the top one, get it back into shape, put a couple tacks on it. And that way I'll be sure that it's as close as it's going to get. I don't really have a flat edge or machine table or anything that I can machine this back flat. So the closest I can get it is where it's going to be. How to set this up correctly, not quite sure, but I'm gonna try it anyway. So I'll put it on this one up here and a flat one down here, and the gap is right here. That means that this top tab is sticking too far this way. So if I clamp this one here, that should put them back in the right range. And what I can see now, looks like everything's flat on this here. Now the center ear is flat. And the top one is also flat. And we can see that that crack is pretty much completely closed up. So after I get this all up here tack welded, then I can go ahead and do the same thing over here. Clamp it on this one, clamp it on that one, and make sure everything's flat. And then we're good. I tried to find videos on actually welding a 4L80. There's not a lot out there. There's a couple where guys are talking about it, talking about the process, going to pick them up after they're welded, that kind of thing. So I figured I'd go through the backyard way of doing it, which I've never done this before. So if you do this, break an ear off, please don't blame me. I'm just trying. Just trying to give people some ideas. So hopefully it works out for you, as well as hopefully it works out, hopefully as it's going to work out for me. I don't know what that means yet. But anyway, yeah, so this is a plan. It's a plan. I don't think this ear being off is going to warp this 3/8 plate. It's pretty solid stuff. You'd have a hard time standing on that to get it to bend. So the little bit of sort of resistance on that, I don't think it's going to cause any issues. So I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to work absolutely perfect. So I guess the next step will be running up to my wife's work at OK Tire and getting it welded. Well, I got the transmission brought up and the welder's all set up. Now, I'm gonna clean this piece up here and see if I can do a couple of test passes. And hopefully it works. Okay, well, I got the transmission put back in the Cadillac because I couldn't weld it. It just would not work for me. Good welder, but didn't have a spool gun or anything. The wire kept jamming up. And this is CO2, not argon. And apparently you need 100% argon in order to weld aluminum correctly. And this is what it was doing. I went from wire speed right from 10 up, well, now to 100, but and thickness was set to 1/8 inch, set to MIG aluminum. So as far as I know, the settings should be fine, and I did it in increments from basically 10 wire speed up, and it didn't improve whatsoever. It didn't even seem like it wanted to burn. It was just splattering off and really cold, no shielding whatsoever. And this is not dirty aluminum over here. This is what I wire wheeled off. So I'm gonna see if there's anybody in town who can just go ahead and weld this for me. I like doing stuff myself, but you know, obviously there's lots of qualified people around, much more qualified than I am. And I'll get this thing done. So while I'm here, my two girls are fast asleep. Hi, Lillian. This is a Turbo 400 that Albert Smith from out in Glovertown gave me. He messaged me on Facebook and he's like, hey man, I got a transmission here. I'm gonna throw it in the dump if you don't want it. Come get it. It's like, okay. And it's got a torque converter in it. I have no idea what it is. Stock, I guess. And here's the unit. Looks fine. Looks cruddy and gross, so that's right down my alley. And I'll be using that, I would say, in the Datsun that I showed in the last video. I wish it would be going in the rat rod, but cats can't hear me. But anyway, I usually like to do my own work, but when it comes to something that is crucial in this thing working right and not tear my legs off when it explodes and the torque converter comes at me, but I don't have any experience with aluminum welding. Plus, you know, don't have the right materials, that kind of thing. So it was a good shot. It was a really good try. Thanks a lot to OK Tire for trying to help me out. So yeah, that'll be in the next video. Potentially, maybe some other stuff, maybe some rear end stuff, maybe some other Caravan stuff. So I still gotta get the engine transmission out of that. And yeah, so I'm gonna shut her down here, and thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good day.